Pepe Marais from the award-winning Joe Public agency. Welcome to the Red Zone.
Thanks so much.
To get started, what do brands want from their ad agency in a tough business climate?
Brands want their agencies to beat the line. So every single brand that we work on wants more bang for their buck. So budgets are, I wouldn't say they're shrinking, but they're definitely not growing as they used to in the past. So that's remaining quite flat, and our clients want more return on that investment.
In that line, what is more important, strategy or creativity?
So that's a interesting question to a creative person, but I would absolutely say creative based on sound strategy is the only way to move. We invested quite heavily in strategy about 6-7 years ago. We started building our whole business around our strategic department, and I'd say that's a big part of our success. So yes, creativity is what the consumer sees, but if it's not based on a sound long-term strategy, then it will not yield the same results.
Definitely. And speaking of your success, Joe Public is a small agency, but it's come of age. Tell me a bit about your story.
So we actually realized we used to be middle-sized up to the end of last year, so under 50, and we've had phenomenal growth this year. So for the first time we're actually in the bigger league in terms of size, so we've broken 100 heads. And I think a large part of that growth is probably our whole purpose as a business, which is growth. So growth of our clients. We highly focus on the growth of our clients because we know it's the only way we can grow as people. It's the only way to grow our staff, to work on bigger and more powerful opportunities.
Tell me a bit more about that growth to the power of N that Joe Public is all about.
Yeah, so we did quite a session. It was co-created with all our staff at this stage about 18 months, 2 years ago. And we put it at the core of the business. So we started asking, why are we in business? Like, why do we all go to work? It surely can't just be for money or to pay our bonds. And in essence, we found that each person come within our organization or is attracted to us to grow as people. And we soon realized the only way to grow as people is to grow our clients. Because as we grow our clients, we actually grow opportunities. So their growth is our growth and vice versa. Definitely. So that's how we operate. That's why we get up every day. That's why we go to work.
And of course, you've just won your first Grand Prix at the Loeries for a campaign you did for the radio station OFM. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
So we've got different divisions in our company now, so different companies within the whole of Joe Public. We've got a takeaway division, so there was a client through our takeaway. It was a project done for OFM, and it was to target media planners and to change their perception on OFM. So if you had to ask me a few years ago, what does OFM stand for, I'd go, it's just the Afrikaans station in the Free State. And you couldn't be further from wrong. So it was to break that perception, and we created a direct mail piece that worked very, very well, and then went on and won the Grand Prix.
And why do you think it worked so well?
I think it's surprisingly different. So it's very unexpected. It uses paper to put the communication on, but the paper can then be used to play music. So it actually came with a little music box, and you feed the paper through it. That's got the message on it. It's all about changing your tune, and it used different songs and genres of songs that they play on their station to change people's perception. So Cindy Lauper, True Colour, for instance, will be this whole perception that it's a white station, and it's not. It's a hugely integrated station with massive listenership in that area of our country. And so so it was just, I think, the surprising element of it, the way it integrated flat art with some form of a digital music and sound. Very, very, like an awesome piece. Definitely,
and certainly a very innovative campaign. Yeah. And what do you think the learning is for other brands from this campaign?
You know, there's maybe not just from this campaign, but there's a huge shift globally to integrate our standard traditional channels. So we would have, in the past, a few years back, we would have looked at direct mail as just flat print as an opportunity. And in this instance, we actually put 3D and music to the flat print. In all areas now, when we do radio, when we do anything, you can't just do a print ad anymore. You have to look at integrating to all the social platforms. You have to look at all the the Twitters and the Facebooks and the online components and how it integrates with your traditional media. So I'd say the way forward is definitely much more about integration of media types.
I agree. And now, of course, your agency has overseas representation. So what's the thinking here?
So the thinking here is that creative people traditionally if you just look at the global models, it's a little bit of a pyramid scheme. Creative people don't own their agencies, not a lot. I mean, in our country, I'd say in the top 10, there's probably 2 agencies, maybe 3, that are South African owned 100%. So our model is that each agency in our network will be owned 100% by creative people. And by creative people, I don't mean just the art director, copywriters. Like strategists are hugely creative people. So anyone creative we hope to attract those kind of people. And our first Joe Public is in Amsterdam, owned by 2 creatives and a strategist. So yeah, so that's our vision going forward for Joe Public.
Seems to put advertising back where it should be.
Firmly so.
Yeah.
You know, the thinking, and that takes nothing away from anyone. I would say anyone within an agency that's a thinker is a creative person, irrespective of their job description, whether they're the bean counter or the account director or the creative person. If you're a thinker, then in my view, you're a creative person. And we want our agency to be in the hands of thinkers.
And with that in mind, can you give us the longer view on advertising going into the next 5 years?
Yeah, so my view is probably it's going to get tougher and tougher. I don't think this economy is going to recover as fast as we hope. It's going to remain flat. So we're going to have to find new and innovative solutions. So hence, to the question of strategy, creative will remain, for me, the most important aspect. And creative not meaning the art side, the way that we find solutions, the way that we think around problems that our clients face, and those solutions and how we take them to market, albeit in a much more integrated way than just traditional television.
Great. Well, Pepe Marais, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Great.